Shalom. I welcome this opportunity to share with you some thoughts regarding the forthcoming Yom Tov of Rosh Hashanah. It's fascinating to note that whereas when it comes to the other Chagim, the character of the Chag is spelled out by the Torah. The Torah says very clearly that Pesach, Ba'erev Tochlu Matzos, you are to eat matzah. And the Torah even tells us why. That you were chased out of Egypt and that God took us out. So we know exactly what we're celebrating. When it comes to Rosh Hashanah, as we have the custom of reciting on the night of Rosh Hashanah, prior to the Shemona Esrei, Tiku B'Chodesh Shofar, blow on the holiday, which is a Rosh Chodesh, namely Rosh Hashanah, blow the shofar, Ba'keseh liyom chagenu. One of the translations of the word Ba'keseh is hidden. Not just is the new moon hidden in the context there, but the nature of the holiday is hidden. Number one, the Torah does not say that Rosh Hashanah is a Yom Adin, a day of judgment. We know it's a day of judgment. How do we know? The rabbis tell us that Rosh Hashanah is the day that Adam, the first man, was created. On this day, God said to him, you can eat from all the trees except from one. The day that you eat from that tree, you will die. He doesn't eat from all the others. He runs immediately to that one tree, showing that man does not want to be limited. That's a whole different idea, but it's very significant. And he is judged on that day. Namely, he is judged, he's found guilty, but somewhat pardoned. Namely, instead of dying on that day, he lives for 930 years. He does not remain immortal. He becomes mortal. That is his punishment. As that day was a day of judgment, we observe that day as well as a day of judgment. But it's interesting, this is not found in the Torah. It is found from the rabbis, and that's very significant. The Torah doesn't even say to blow a shofar. The Torah says it's a yom of blowing. It's the rabbis that teach us that we ought to blow a shofar. I'd like to talk for a few moments. What is the shofar? The shofar is a prayer without words, and I'll prove it to you. The mitzvah of matzah is not fulfilled in the Shemona Esrei. On the night of the Pesach Seder, we don't eat matzah while we daven. On Sukkot, we don't shake the lulav while we daven the Shemona Esrei. But here, regarding the shofar is literally blended together with the Shemona Esrei. We blow 30 sounds before. The Sephardim blow 30 sounds during. They come to Malchios and they stop. They come to Zechronos and they stop. They come to Shofros and they stop. We Ashkenazim, in the repetition of the Shemona Esrei, blow those 30, thus showing that shofar is very much connected with prayer. It's a prayer without words. What does that mean? There are times, be it times of happiness, times of grief, that we just cannot express the words. The shofar expresses it for us. Now, what is the shofar to remind us? Aside from the famous teaching of the Rambam, that the shofar is a wake-up call, and that's a blessing. As the Chinuch says, the purpose of Rosh Hashanah is a wake-up call, that we should look at our ways and not allow our sins to accumulate. But the Torah calls Rosh Hashanah Yom Teruah. A Teruah, we know from the 10th chapter of the book of Bamidbar, is a sad note. It was blown on a day of war. A tekiah is a happy note. blown on the days of celebration. Yom Teruah means we blow cries. We blow a tekiah always before a happy. We blow a cry and a happy. What's the idea? The idea is as follows. We believe that a individual is born clean, not tainted as other religions might believe. He's born clean, yashar, straight. Too often, what happens is we mess up all kinds of wrongdoings. So Rosh Hashanah tells us, you were born pure. You were born with great potential. Teruah, you have messed up. But then what always follows the Teruah is a tekiah. You can change. You can get better. You can go back to that state of purity. This is the message of Rosh Hashanah. And this is what each and every one of us has to take. The excitement that there is that opportunity for renewal, the great potential of man. And interestingly, while it is the first day of Aseres Yemei Tshuva, we don't have the Oshamnu, Bogadnu, Gozalnu. We don't have the enumeration of sins on this day. But what we do have is focusing on that great potential of man. Wishing everybody a ksiva, v'chasima tova, a not just happy new year, but please God, a productive one individually and communally.